If you feel like you just can't stay consistent no matter how hard you try, this is why. You're not just lazy. Here's the pattern you're stuck in. You start, you stop, then you have guilt, and then you restart. It feels like you don't trust yourself. And why does this matter? Because it kills progress and destroys confidence. You rely on how you feel. You act based on mood and energy. So a good day looks like you're really productive, and a bad day, everything collapses. You have no stable baseline. And your system is based on fucking feelings. Your mind keeps switching states. So there are two states, right? The high state, where you have so much clarity and so much energy, and the low state, where everything is heavy, it's really slow, and you have no drive. It feels like two different versions of yourself, and this usually happens like over weeks. So let's say you go to the gym. I'll tell a story about that later. And one week you're in a high state, and the other week you're in a low state. And your plans don't switch between states, which means you end up losing momentum. You broke trust with yourself. You said, I'll stay consistent this time. Then stop. Repeated the cycle. Now you think, oh, I'll probably quit again. So what happens? You hesitate before starting. If this is hitting you, like and subscribe so that it actually reaches the people who need it. This story takes place sometime before I was sent to rehab. So I was going to the gym regularly. I was going for a few weeks, sometime in November. So I got sent to rehab in November 2022. And before this, let's say July and August, I was really consistent, fucking every single day, or let's say 5 days a week, according to what my coach had given me. I was going to the gym 5 days a week, every week, and I was really consistent. So maybe it was a high state. And I didn't know that I have this bipolar disorder gene in me. My uncle has paranoid schizophrenia, but I didn't think I had anything. I was totally unaware of my disorder. And I was going to the gym, and I think from September, out of the blue, my state shifted. So from having so much drive and so much consistency and so much promise, I suddenly stopped going to the gym. I don't really know why. Back then I didn't know why, but now I know. I was probably experiencing a low state or a depressive state. And since I didn't know what was going on, I thought that was just me. And I thought that at the time, I was confused. Why am I not going to the gym? Why am I not able to stick to this? I was a little frustrated, to be honest with you. I didn't know why it was happening, because I was always the guy, before these symptoms started showing up, I was always the guy who was really consistent, going to the gym every single day other than rest days for years. And of course, I built my physique. That's what saved me from my accident, the horrific motorcycle accident I had in 2014, on January 16th, 2014. But in 2022, I think that's when my mental illness started to manifest with the bipolar disorder. And I didn't really know what was going on at the time. I thought this was just another phase, and I was a little confused at the time. I was like, why am I not able to stick to this? I was always going to the gym. I was always consistent. I was always that guy, the gym guy, the gym dude. That's what my friends used to call me, the gym dude, not the gym guy. So I used to go, and I didn't really know why, but I felt very low, and immediately, sometime in October or November, I started to get a high state again. And I learned later on that this was a substance induced manic phase because I was smoking a lot of weed. And I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I just said it. I was really confused, and I was actually taking medical cannabis to help me sleep. I didn't know that the lack of sleep was because of me entering a manic phase, and I was taking medical cannabis to help me sleep. I was getting good sleep for a while, and then later, I don't know what got into me. I was stupid. I started smearing the medical cannabis oil on cigarettes and started smoking them, and that got me into a full-blown manic phase, which got me sent to rehab. And I got out after 4 months, and it's been 3.5 years now. I've come a long way since then, but the point of this story is that the consistency wasn't there because of my bipolar disorder, not because I was lazy. So that's what you want to take away from this. You don't have a system for bad days. Your system only works when you feel good. You've got no fallback plan. On a low day, you've got total shutdown. You expect 100% effort every single day. That is fucking unrealistic. How you actually stay consistent? First, stop relying on motivation. Build minimum standards. What do I mean by minimum standards? Wait, let me give you an example. Something like, even on bad days, I do this. To go even deeper on that, even on bad days, I drink 3 liters of water. Even on bad days, I eat 3 meals a day. Even on bad days, I make sure I sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. So what you got to focus on is consistency over intensity. Consistency will always win you the game. And you have to rebuild self-trust through small wins. So let's say you slept 7 hours a night for 4 nights in a row. That's a small win. When you do that for 40 nights in a row, that's a bigger win. When you do that for 4 years in a row, that's a fucking great win. And this is the identity shift you gotta have. You show up no matter the state. You don't need perfect days. You need a plan for bad ones. So, start small, stay in it, and you'll build something you can actually trust. Thanks for watching.